Okay, good evening and salutations, our soap opera fans. So tonight we got a special guest up in the building. This is a person I've been watching for quite a while, for quite a good amount of time, and I definitely enjoy your reviews and stuff like that. Please welcome Danniebear87. How you
Hey
doing tonight?
everybody, I'm doing all right. How about you?
I can't complain, really. I really have nothing to complain about.
That's good.
So, how long have you been doing like reviews? Like, how'd you get into doing soap opera reviews?
I actually started a few years ago, well, a long time ago, because I had another channel that I did reviews on back when Wanting to Live was still on. I have no idea what happened to that channel, but I've had this channel for a while, and so I was like, well, I'll just put it on this channel then.
Okay, all right. And you've been watching General Hospital for a hot minute too, right?
Yeah, about 18 years since spring '04.
Okay, good. See, that's probably the same around the time I actually started watching it. Around 2000. But of course, my first one was One Life to Live. So it was One Life to Live, and then Port Charles, and then that got me into the whole General Hospital thing.
Yeah, I started General Hospital because I was a Port Charles fan first, and I loved Kelly Monaco as Livy, and so I had bought a soap mag because I was watching almost all the other ones, and I saw the article about Sam trying to find out who her baby daddy was. So I'm like, Livy! So I had to, check it out, and then I became a J Sam fan because the episode where Jason asks her if he could be her baby daddy is the one that got me to want to keep watching. So I'm like,
Okay.
they're gonna be a cute couple.
So
I was
you
right.
so you pretty much got into General Hospital because of Port Charles.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's interesting. That's actually the same with me. Because like I was watching and I know they did like a couple of crossovers sometimes, and it was like I felt like I was watching half of a puzzle, you know? And
Yeah.
so I wanted to see what the other, because sometimes they would have people from General Hospital come on their show. So I was like, I got another whole story, you know?
Yeah.
That was a wild ride. Like Port Charles. Like, can you imagine like watching it now? Because like watching it back then, it was like, all magic and vampires and stuff like that. But it's like when you look at it now, it's like, do you really think it would still hold up? Like, you
Yeah.
know?
I think it probably would be more popular because I know I'm a Passions fan also, and I'm in a group on Facebook, and they were just talking about how popular it would be if it had came out in today versus back in '99. I'm
I
like,
think
because I see other shows kind of like doing stuff like that, and I'm like, yeah, I think they would have been better off around now.
you're actually right. Now that I sit there and think about, especially like the whole supernatural and vampire stuff. So like,
Mm.
this would actually been golden, really, when you think about it. So
Yeah.
so far, what do you think of the Hook storyline? Like, what do you think of General Hospital, the whole storyline and everything? What do you think of it?
Mm. Well, I thought it started off really great, and then it seemed like they kind of forgot about it, and then now they're back to it. So I'm like, I don't know, I'm confused because I don't think that it was. I guess they kind of pretty much said that Heather was only doing it to, make it look like Esme was innocent. So then now I'm like, so who is the hooker? Because we know for sure it's not Esme. So I'm like, and then killed my girl Britt. That was just so messed up. I'm like, they gave her this big party, so you think she's having this big send off, and then she gets hooked. Lordy. Mm-mm.
Yeah, my whole thing is like with Brit, like because I knew that she was leaving like
Yeah,
months, you know.
forever ago. So I'm like, did they really? Because Kelly kind of made it seem like she wasn't really leaving. So then I'm like, did all the news people get it wrong?
Well, I mean, it's so weird because like we live in a time now where it's like we're spoiled. Just telling
Yeah.
somebody else like back then when we started watching soaps, if somebody got killed off, you didn't know the reason behind it. You didn't know if there was drama. Now it's like you do one click and you know everything 3 months in advance, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I try to stay away from spoilers, but being on Twitter is kind of hard because it's
Yeah.
like I follow so many people and they talk about it, and I'm like, no, I don't want to see it. But then I'm like, okay, if I read it on Twitter, then that's my fault. But if somebody asks me, then I'm like, that's your fault for telling me.
Yeah.
But yeah, but some stuff I am kind of like, okay, yeah, I would like to see what's going on. Like with Spencer and Trina, I'm like, will they get together already? So I admit that I peek at what's gonna happen with them.
So you're a quote unquote Sabrina fan. I guess that's what they call them, Sabrina fans.
Yeah, that's just torture. With them, it's like then they're like almost finally kissed last week, and then Esme comes out the water. I'm like, Lordy. But yeah, I've been liking them ever since their first scene. It's like they're kind of cute, and then over time, it's just like fell more and more in love with them. And then Tabyana came on, and it's like I swear they got like even hotter and more popular since then.
Now, do you like the new Trina versus the old one, or like how do you feel about that?
I love both of them. I don't know if I could say one over the other, but I think they both did and are doing amazing jobs. With how would you say it? Their own portrayal. They're not trying to. Tabiana's not trying to copy what Sydney does. She's doing her own thing with the role, and it's
Yeah.
turning out really well. I think she's one of the best recasts the show has had in a while. Really.
You know, she's actually the third recast. Well, I mean, technically, she's the third Trina.
Yeah, I had forgotten about that. I was looking at something because I forgot it was some mag that was doing the best of the year, and they had mentioned that she was the third recast, and I'm like, oh, I forgot about the first one. And
Yeah, most people did.
I
Most
guess
people did. 'Cause
I think she must have been just on like a few scenes before they like really started doing stuff with her and got Sydney.
because what wound up happening was originally Trina was supposed to be kind of the troublemaker. You know, I don't know if you remember it, but like, yeah, exactly. But like in the beginning, you know, she was like throwing parties and stuff like that, and have like underage drinking, and that's when Oscar got introduced to the show, and you know, he made a big deal out of it because you know Jocelyn only has like one liver or something like that. So I remember where Trina was actually more the troublemaker in the beginning, and then they were just like, nah, that's not going to work. So they obviously changed that around.
Wow, I'm gonna have to go back and watch those scenes. I don't really remember that well.
Yeah, it was like 3 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago. So yeah,
No, wow. But I didn't really like Oscar. He was just so boring. My goodness gracious. Ooh, that job. And then
that
they
whole
just
thing was
started
a mess. That whole
what?
thing was a mess. That whole thing was a mess. Like, because when he left, and then Kim left, and then like it was just a domino effect, you know.
Yeah. And I didn't really like Kim either. Like I love Tamara, but the character of Kim was just like, ugh, no. I
So
liked
you
her
like you
better
like
as Ava.
yeah. I was gonna sit there and say. And so when did you start watching Days? How long you been
Um,
watching that for?
Summer 2000.
Oh wow. Okay, so you're an old school fan. Okay, wow. Okay, all right. So if I got any questions, you know who I'm coming to, right? Because I only started watching like about 2 years ago. So I'm still new in that department.
uh,
And you review all three of the soap operas, right?
yeah, I just started Bold a few months ago.
Are you liking that so far?
It's been up and down. Um, Sheila is my favorite that's going on right now, though I know a lot of people don't like her. Well, I understand, but I love the villains, so I usually will. I'm more interested in what they're doing, and I think that though the storyline is kind of like right now, because like her and Brad, like That just came out of nowhere.
You mean like her and Bill?
Oh, not Bill. Yes, he played Brad on Young and the Restless, and I'm like trying to remember to call him Bill.
Yes, okay.
Because I'm like, all I see is Brad. I really loved him as Brad called. But Bill, yeah, that's just, and the way that they made it seem like he's just doing it because they couldn't have a Logan. I'm like, and Lee is just right there. I thought that Lee and Bill had really great chemistry. I thought they were going that way. And then he just started trying to get with Brooke and then Katie, and I don't know. But I'm pretty sure that Sheila is playing him. I don't know, just to get out or just to get out so she could get to Deacon. Because he just ran off. I don't blame him.
Yeah.
I was like, stay gone. But I was like, I love Deacon, but I don't want him to go to prison. But I really like Sheila and Deacon together. They're cute. Well, I'm usually attracted to hot mess couples, so
Okay.
of course I love them. So, but I am interested in see where it's going. I really thought she was going to kidnap Paige, but yeah, they just went in an entirely different direction with that.
Yeah. I don't know, because I started watching it like maybe about a year and a half ago, and now it's getting to a point where it's very cartoonish. Like it's fun to watch because it's just so over the top, like Bill and a necklace and a sword thing, and I'm just like, so you decided to go to the dark side because two women out of all of LA decided to reject you. And this is what happened. This is the results. Like it's just too funny, but it's something that I just love because it's just so over the top. Um,
Yeah, like Sheila busting in on Finn and Steffi. I watched that scene so many times. It's just like overly dramatic, but it's hilarious.
yes. I don't think that people understand that sometimes. Like people sit there and be like, it's not serious like you're in a hospital or like days, and I'm like, you're right, but it's so over the top. It's like you can't help but to laugh. Like I don't know if you remember the scene like during the whole COVID thing, and like people couldn't really like do like love making scenes. So you had like Flo and Wyatt like doing some sort of thing, and I guess it was like a doll or something like that. It was the most hilarious because they couldn't really do like love making scenes when they came back on. So instead, it's like these two people are making love scenes to like some sort of a doll. Like if you go back and watch it, it's the most hilarious thing among the most hilarious things I've ever seen.
Yeah, I just really started watching in February, but I remember Twitter talking about that, and I'm like, oh my gosh. But I
Oh,
never, but I'm like, now I really need to go to YouTube. I'm sure somebody's got a video of that up there.
yes, yes. When I started watching, I barely got to the review because I was too busy laughing. Like it was just like, what am I watching? Now, do you watch YNR also, or you just watch just the three?
I watch YNR, but I got mad at them because they were just doing stupid stuff.
Like what? I mean, in particular.
It's like really boring. It's like everything was about business, and I really don't like Mustache Victor, aka Victor.
Oh, the great Victor Newman. Okay.
Has never liked him. Like I started watching in like '03, I think, and I never liked him. So, I just been watching on and off throughout the years and stuff. But when they killed off Ashland was like the last straw. So one, I loved him, and two, the way that they killed him off, I thought it would have been a cool like cover up with Nick and Victoria, but then Mustache got involved, and I'm like, you know what? I can't watch this no more. But yeah, they brought Daniel back, so now I'm like watching again because I love Daniel and Lily. I was so mad when they broke them up because I could not stand Kane. Ugh, I cannot stand him. I'm just so mad that they did that. It should have been Daniel and Lily for life.
Now they
But
had problems, right? Like they broke up or whatever because I guess the dude had like some sort of addiction. We'll just sit there and say,
um, I
you know what
think
I'm talking about, right?
I'm trying to remember. I remember he used to drink.
Yeah, but then he also had a porn addiction, so like that was a thing from
Oh
what I
wow.
heard. Yeah,
How did I
yeah.
forget about that? Lordy, now I need to go back and brush up on my Daniel and Lily.
So you're not a Billy fan then, right? Are you a Billy fan?
He is so boring. Oh my gosh.
Sort of look on your face. That told me everything. Told me everything.
Oh my gosh. Like I hadn't watched in a while and I started watching like right around the time he started the podcast. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she's about to put me to sleep. And I'm like, poor Lily. They have like no chemistry. And now he's just like trying to help Chelsea all the time. I'm like, perfect time for Daniel to come and steal her.
Yeah, pretty much. It's the very truth. At one point, because I was talking to my other friend DC, and in the beginning, I was like, Billy don't got nothing to worry about. Daniel could just stay over there. Billy's gonna be fine. But then I started watching it. I'm like, Billy is constantly at Chelsea's place, like all the time, and I'm like, that's not a good look. Like you do realize who your girlfriend is, right? Like priorities need to be straight or something. So I knew that the minute that Daniel came in town, it was going to be a wrap because he already pretty much set himself up for failure.
Yeah, and part of me thinks that Daniel purposely came back and wanted to work at Chancellor Winter just to get back with Lily. So I'm like, what was he married to that girl or just dating his
I
son?
think
What was her
I
name?
yeah Lucy is it Luke? No, that's the daughter, right?
I think Lucy's the daughter. I forgot the mom's name. But I'm like, she probably dumped him and left him. And so now he's like all alone. That's
Hey, he's
part of
on
the
the
reason
market
why he came
again.
to town. That's why I think. But I'm behind. I'm still trying to catch up. I haven't even watched the Christmas episodes yet. Because I'm like trying to watch current Bold and Days and GH. And by the time I get done with them, I'm ready to go to sleep.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
like,
a lot.
I need to find time to catch up with YNR. Because somebody Twitter was saying that Billy and Lily died. They broke up. Their connection died. They broke up. But I'm like, really? But I didn't see anything else about it. So I'm like, oh well. I guess I will find out when I watch finally.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you didn't really. I mean, unless here's the thing with the Christmas episode. Unless you are a Tess Mariah fan, you're not gonna. Are you a Tess Mariah fan?
Yeah, I like them.
Well, then you're gonna enjoy the episode.
I love their wedding. That was so good. Like I was glad they got airtime, but since I've been back watching, I don't see them that much.
What Tess Mariah?
Yeah, I just saw them like a few times. Like I know they're trying to get a baby.
It's my issue with them is that they don't give them good storylines. Like they haven't had a good story. I think the last storyline that I heard was good was when Mariah was, I guess she was kidnapped or whatever, and she started bonding, I guess, with the baby, which is now named Dom. But like ever since then, they don't give them anything good. Like they're just there for filler. It's sort of like Sharon. It's like they keep her at that coffee house all the time. Like,
That
can
is
you
so
allow her to?
wrong.
Yeah.
They kill her husband, and then all she
Well, to
does
be fair,
is serve coffee and mentor people for free. It's just
well, to
wrong.
be, to be fair, it's not like they really gave Ray anything good to do.
Mm-mm. I thought Ray
So
was boring. I mean, I love the actor. I forgot his name. Was it Jordy? Is that his name?
something with a J. I'm not even gonna bother to try to pronounce it because I know I'm gonna offend someone. Um,
Yeah, he was on Days of Our Lives. He played Rafe's brother. I
yeah, I
can't
heard.
think of his name. Oh, he is beautiful. But Ray was so boring.
What
Just like
Ray?
Chance. Him and Chance. Oh my gosh. They're so boring. I want Sharon and Nick to get back together, but can't have nice things.
Or Sharon and Shannon and Nate or Shannon and Nick?
Sharon.
No, Sharon and Nick though, or Nick or Nate?
Nick.
Nick. Okay.
Yeah, they were one of my favorite couples when I started watching. Yeah, them not getting back together, and then this mess with Jack and Phyllis. That's made me stop watching. I think it was like
Uh,
beginning of summer stuff. It looked like Jack and Phyllis were getting back together, and they had sex, and then he finds out it was all because she just wanted to make sure Diane couldn't have him. And I'm like, oh my gosh,
that's what it
what?
was. Okay.
I can't.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
cannot.
Okay. I wonder. I wonder why they weren't seeing each other anymore. Now it's this whole Jack and Diane and Jeremy and Phyllis is acting like a 16-year-old child. Like
Yeah, she
it's
won't even admit. I'm like, you're caught. You're caught red-handed. Admit what you did. She acting like she didn't do nothing. I'm like, oh my gosh.
yeah. I guess my issue is this. Like
I
Diane. Okay. So Diane. I guess Diane must have did some bad stuff back in the day. But the minute that she came back, she hasn't done anything. Yet
yeah,
you got three.
that's my
Yeah, you
thing.
got three wicked witches of the West. That's meant they're trying to plot and plan schemes to get out of town. I'm like, y'all have nothing else better to do. Like Phyllis literally sold her hotel to work for her daughter to get back at Diane. Like, really?
That's
It,
just pathetic. Yeah,
yeah,
I didn't. I was like, why does everybody hate Diane? Like, I just don't understand it. And then some people told me some stuff that she did, and of course with the flashbacks and stuff, I'm like, okay, I can get why they don't like her, but she's
yeah,
literally done nothing since. I don't know by the time that I stopped watching for a few months, but from what I've seen, she hasn't really done anything. So that just makes Phyllis and Ashley and Nikki look stupid.
yeah. You got three grown women that are literally grandmothers, and at least two of them have husbands. But yet, this is how they spend their day. I don't get that.
It's beyond pathetic. The only good thing about it is Ashley's on more.
Yes, I do. I do like Ashley, and I do like Tucker. So,
Yeah. Oh yes, I love Trevor. I loved him as
Todd,
Todd Manning. Todd was an ass, but I loved him so much. Him and
yes.
him and Taya, they were so hot together.
I remember when I was watching it. I think it was Todd, and he had another guy named Colin, and
Hmm.
then he became Troy or whatever. Like those are two of my favorite characters on the show. Like I just love Todd and Colin because they were just over the top, you know.
Hmm. Yeah. I love David too. David and Dorian. Oh my gosh, they're just too funny.
And you had Vicky, and you had what was his name, Ben or something like that.
Ben. Hmm. Ben.
I know it was a while ago.
I'm trying to think. I don't know. I
Yeah,
would
it
have.
was like over like 20 something years ago. So
Oh,
I do not.
that's before my time. Then I started watching. I think it was 03, 02, 03 when they were doing the baby switch storyline with all my children.
Oh, okay. All right, I heard about that.
Yeah, I
Man,
was
those were some
watching.
days.
Yeah, I was watching all my children, and I just felt like I was missing stuff. And my mom's like, "You gotta watch One Life to Live too." And I'm like, "Oh, that's the show that comes on after it." It's like, okay, because that's back in the SoapNet days.
Oh, good old SoapNet. I used to love SoapNet. Like,
I was
because
so
I would get out, yeah. I got out of school like late. And so I'll just be like, all right, I'll just wait for 10 o'clock to watch General Hospital or whatever else is coming on.
yeah. I'm like, that was like the best channel to have. Lordy. I know.
Good
I
old
keep
days.
asking them. I'm like, why don't y'all add Young and the Restless? And then they add Young and the Restless, and then put Days of Our Lives at 11. So I'm like falling asleep on General Hospital, and I'm waking up today. Because I was getting up at like 6 o'clock to go to school. Oof, that was
Oh,
rough. High
yeah,
school.
I remember those. I remember those days. Ah, good
And
times, huh?
yeah, I would switch schools so I could get home in time to watch at least some of Passions. I used to run from the bus stop. I was like, okay, what did I miss? Because like my whole family watched Passions, so and I thought that was funny. But now we only got four, so ugh, I
Yeah,
hate.
and it had like it had. I think we had like 10 whatever back in the day. But okay, so what got you into doing reviews though? Like, what got you into doing soap reviews?
You know what? I have no idea. I'm trying to think, why did I start doing that? I don't know. I have no idea. I really don't know. Well, I know I wanted to do YouTube videos, but then I was like, well, then what could I do? Because I have so many different interests. And then I guess I just thought, hey, why not soaps? I watch soaps. I talk about soaps on Twitter. So why not talk about it on YouTube?
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Makes sense. It's just I always find it interesting to hear people's like stories, like how they got started and stuff. Because now there's so many people. Like there's people I found, like yesterday. I found your channel like maybe a couple months ago, and I was thinking, telling my friend like, DC, you ever heard of Danniebear87? Like she does videos and stuff. She does. Well, at one point when I was watching, you used to do GH reaction videos. Then
Mhm.
you switched it back to, reviews and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, because someone suggested I would do reactions because I was mostly
Excuse
just
me.
talking, you know, saying what I thought about it. But
Yeah.
then, I started talking, more giving an overview of what happened before I give my 2 cents. So then I guess it kind of turned into reviews.
Yeah. And that
Even
person that,
though,
that, that suggested it was me. I wrote it in the comment section, so like I remember that because
oh,
I,
yeah.
cause I want to find your channels a lot easier because I know like if people sit and look for review, they're not gonna really find reactions. So it's like, just a little suggestion or whatever. But
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I think that's still, yeah. I was like, the way that you put it, I'm like, that makes more sense. Because I am pretty much reviewing what's happening and adding my 2 cents. But, I don't talk about everything because, I try not to be negative, as very negative all the time. So, stuff that I know I'm not going to be very positive about, I usually will leave it out unless it's one of my faves or, a big story that's going on. Then, I'll talk about it. But, I still try to find the good in everything. But I know some soap fans want to be negative about everything, and I'm like, let's be positive. We still have our show. Yes, some things are stupid, but you know, just just watch and see how it goes. Because something that looks stupid could look really awesome the next day.
that's a very good way of looking at it. Because see, let's put it this way. There's a lot of times I could be, how do you say, a dick. So a lot of times, I'll sit there and before I start my review, I'm like, listen, I'm going to be kind of negative. So if you want, you can go check out Danniebear87. She's a lot more nicer than me because I am not going to be review. So I do love the fact that, because I watch your videos and stuff like that. You're like very positive and you don't really sit there and kind of like, be too negative on certain characters. And I'm just like, wow, you have way more patience than I do. I salute you because I don't have it in me. I don't.
Well, I guess it comes from me loving more of the hot mess characters. And I was like, they're just really bad people, and I know a lot of people don't like them. So then I'm like, but they make the show interesting. Like I love me some Ryan Chamberlain, but I know some people would talk bad about him or Ava Jerome. I love them together. I know some people like I wasn't prepared for you to like them together. But I'm like, if the actors have chemistry, then, I could ship, any couple.
Now let me ask you a question. When you do these reviews and stuff like that, how hard is it to sit there and keep track of names? So like, you sit there and talk about Ava, and it's like, well, which Ava? Are you talking about GH Ava? Or are you talking about Days Ava? Like, how do you just get used to the names for you? Like, that's something that I find really interesting.
Uh, well, we think about it. Ava Jerome and Ava Vitale aren't that different.
Yeah.
Ava Vitale is a little over it. Ava Jerome's been kind of mellow lately. But yeah, I'm like, yeah, because I keep like my notes section on my phone. I like make notes about it and stuff. So if I'm
I
talking
saw that.
about Ava Jerome, I'm like, you know, I add like she was talking to Nicholas or she was talking to Trina or Laura, whoever. And then Ava was like, she was talking with EJ and Johnny or whatever. Or
Okay, very
yes,
interesting.
sometimes in my videos I do be messing up people's names.
I've done that too. So it's not just you. It's yeah, no, I get it. And I sometimes I found it really interesting that you use your phone to take down the notes because like I always use like the paper and stuff like that. And I'm usually buying like a bunch of notebooks because sometimes I'll do 4 reviews because I do them daily. So I'm just like, wow, this it's a lot of money going towards these notebooks. And I look at you and you're just on your phone or whatever. I'm just like, that's pretty interesting, you know.
Because I probably will lose a piece of paper. I mean, I love pens, so I have tons of pens I could use to write, but I probably lose the paper. Just like I'll write my grocery list on a piece of paper and then I would lose it. So I'm like, I always have my phone. I mean, I lose my phone, of course, but I have a better chance of finding my phone than a piece of paper.
That makes sense, and that's good of you because I don't even come in a grocery store with a note or anything like that. That's usually because I just buy the same things every day because I'm just super boring. So that's good. You know,
Yeah, sometimes I just be forgetting stuff, and then I get mad when I come home and I don't have it. So yeah, it's like the very important things I listed there. Then most
interesting.
everything else is like, if it's there, I'll get it. If not, because of course the stuff that I love is usually sold out. So I'm like, oh, of course. That's why
Just
I hate
because.
grocery shopping. Yeah, like my cherry coke. Goodness, I finally found some. It wasn't on sale, but I got it because I just wanted it.
Hey, why not? I mean, you only live once. So
Yeah.
now let me ask you a question. So there's a lot of new people and stuff like that. I know one of my subscribers, she just started doing soap opera reviews and stuff like that. So I guess my question for you is, if you had to give any advice towards somebody that wants to start a soap opera channel, what advice would you give them?
Um, definitely be regular with your videos and try to stick to like a schedule. So then people like they know when they can expect the video to come. Cause if like it'd be like you post it like one day and then the next week is like days later or whatever, that could turn off some people. So, um, and be yourself. That's what I always say. Be yourself. Yeah, don't try to copy other people. I mean, we're all doing the same thing, but do it in your own way. Have your own what would you say? Just like your own format.
Okay. That's really good advice. It's true. You got to be yourself, and you got to be honest. You can't sit there and sugarcoat things just because you don't want to offend anyone and stuff like that. Like that's why I love how you do your reviews. You're very positive and stuff like that. Me, I'm the exact opposite. I can be a dick. I can be honest, but you know exactly what you're gonna get though. Now
Yeah.
you do reviews like you do it throughout the week, like so you watch the episodes or whatever, and then on Sundays you do just kind of a genuine like recap and stuff, right?
Yeah. Cause some days I can't watch same day episodes. And then, some episodes it's just like I don't care about anything that's happening in this episode. I'm like, yeah, because Days had a couple of those episodes last week. Even though I ended up talking about everything eventually, but yeah, so trying to do everything. I was like, if you watch the whole week, then you could talk about everything that happened that week within a few minutes and give your thoughts about everything that happened this week. So I was like, I think that would have been that's easier for me, anyways.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah,
I tried that format, like, because like the way I do it is like I do it 5 days a week. right? So trying to do it like I feel like it's much like I give you a lot of props because you're able to sit there and summarize everything in like one day, you know. And I tried that like once for like YNR and being I was like, yep, this isn't working. So I applaud you. Like my friend DC, he also does reviews and he does it also once a week. So like I always sit there and tip my hats off to you because I'm just like, man, I trying to decide what stuff to talk about, what stuff to leave out. It's very interesting. So I like how you do it, you know?
I think yeah, yeah. It's General Hospital is definitely the toughest one to do because way too much happens.
Way too many characters, I'll tell you that
It's like they have like 4 or 5 storylines going on in one episode. That's hard enough. And then you think about everything that happened at the week during the week. I'm like, half, like a quarter of the cast was on in one episode.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm like taking doing my notes, and I'm like, you know, people, some of the people I know watch my videos know I'm a Spencer and Trina fan and a Valentina Anna fan. So I had to make sure I get everything they did down to the T and some quotes and stuff so I can talk about it because that's like half my video. That's like half my review right there.
Yes. Yeah. Um, I felt like I had an. Oh, okay. So just real quick before I guess wrap things up. What would you want for the three soap operas? Like as far as like, what do you want this year for them to do better than last year?
Um, Definitely like well, for General Hospital, I would like them to get rid of some more of their cast members because there's a lot of characters that could really really deserve the boot. And unfortunately, the Hooker storyline is not doing that. So
Yes.
because that really hurts them because they want to try to get everybody involved and either have their own storyline or involved in other storylines, and it doesn't make sense. So it gets kind of harder to follow, and then there's the continued. It's hard to follow because it could be weeks before we'll see something else from a storyline and stuff. So, and the pacing is slow, and it'll just be easier if they would just get rid of a lot of the useless characters and really focus on just like a few storylines at once, and then it'll help it wrap up so they're not they're not dragging out and getting really boring and stuff. So yeah, because think about it, the Elizabeth storyline that was like practically all last year almost. Because
Yeah.
we went like a couple of months without really seeing her, and then the wrap up was like, is it over? Like, I don't know. But for Bold and the Beautiful, I would like them to use their cast members, not the same ones over and over again. Because that Brooke, Taylor, and Reg stuff was just, oh my gosh, why do these smart, beautiful ladies, want this trashy dude? I'm like, I was just joking. I'm like, he must be very blessed downstairs or something. There's nothing appealing about him. I was more attracted to Eric than I am Reg. But yeah, and I'm like,
Wow.
I've been watching regularly since February. So, and I don't really know Zende and Paris very well. So I'm like, I would like to know more about those characters. And I said Bill too, but then the him working with Sheila came up, and I'm like, oh my gosh. But I'm gonna let that play out before I really judge that. But it's good to see him. And I want more Lee also because I love her. She's my favorite character. Her and Sheila. I thought their scenes last week were really good. So hopefully, and I hope they don't go back with Brooke and Taylor with Ridge. They had Brooke kissing him on Christmas. Ugh, Lordy. So I'm like,
Yeah,
so Taylor deserves to get a kiss or something. Even though I don't approve of it, but
just make it
it's
just even
only
it out.
yeah, it's only fair. And for days, I would really love them to try and do more normal storyline. I know that's kind of hypocritical, seeing as I'm a Passions fangirl and Poor Charles fangirl, but really, the show should really try to focus on more, not necessarily serious, but more little more normal than people dying all the time and going to heaven. Though I'm looking forward to the storyline, to see how it all plays out. But yeah, more realistic. I mean, as realistic as a soap opera can get storyline.
Yeah, a little more grounded, not so much as possessions and things of that nature. So yeah,
Brainwashing. Like, oh, yeah, and finally put Stefan and Gabby together. My goodness gracious. We already waited 3 years for him to come back from the grave, and here he is, and they're still not together. He's been alive since, what, August? Yeah, going on 6 months.
yeah.
Almost.
I mean,
Lordy.
we kind of got that for a little bit with Jake and Gabby. I mean, yeah, he wasn't Stefan, but like it was the same actor. It was the same. Okay, it's not working. Okay, I got you. So that's
No,
what look in your face again.
yeah. I mean, I'm glad that they finally did it. And it's like they finally listened to the fans, because it's
It
like
took a
I
while.
guess yeah, they're like, oh, so they like Brandon, so we bring him back as Stefan's twin. I'm like, here is a soap back from the dead that we would actually approve of, and you don't do it. Like I love Brandon, but Jake was just no, 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 no,
You wasn't down for the mechanic, Jake.
no, and
Jake and Kate.
no, oh, Jake and Kate, no, oh my gosh, no. No, no, no. That was horrible. It's funny how Gabby came back and stole him. But no, it's like they were trying to make him, like a Stefan clone kind of, but weaker and stuff. So I was glad when they killed him off. Though his death was like really messed up, because it's like nobody seemed to care except for Ava. Because everybody just
Yeah,
like wanted the shares, and then he didn't really have a funeral or anything.
yeah. It was pretty messed up. Even I mean, granted, EJ is. Not gonna lie, EJ is one of my favorite characters. But it was like it was no emotion. He was just like, oh, okay, yeah. Well, that's a shame. Like, bro, rip.
Yeah, I love EJ. I think Dan has done such an awesome job as EJ. You know, from James Scott, I loved him. So I was like, close. I was, of course, worried about the recast, but Dan, he's got chemistry with everyone pretty much.
You know, here's something I will sit there and say about Dan. There's a couple things I say about Dan. Dan, here's the thing. I didn't know the other EJ, the other actor, so I didn't have anything to compare to. So for me, it just worked. Also, I don't know if you noticed, but Dan generally tends to really kiss women. Like there is TV kissing, and then there's like legit. This dude is just like, no, we're just actually gonna make out. And I've seen him more than once. And I could have swore I saw tongue in there at some point. So I'm just like, so we just like this is what we doing now. Like it's funny to me, but I'm just like I've noticed that, you know.
Yeah, that New Year's Eve, that New Year's kiss. Whew, EJ and Nicole, I love them together. I want them together, but I just have a feeling the writers won't go through with it. It's just another tease for Eric and Nicole to get back together, and I'm like, no, 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 no. Nicole's not the Nicole I love when she's with Eric or when she was with Rafe. It was just that's not the Nicole I love. I love the scheming, bitchy,
Well, I heard
selfish
about that. Yeah, I heard
Nicole.
about that.
That's the Nicole I know and love. You gotta go back and watch her older stuff. That girl.
I heard she was, she was on Sammy's level with that. So when I came in, she was very tame. And I'm hearing all these stories like, no. She used to be the best of them, like with Sammy and Gabby and stuff like that. I'm just like, So I'm just late to the
Yeah.
party at this point towards everything. That's nice, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. Oh lordy, that girl's horrible, but I love her, and she could be herself with EJ. And I was like, these two are like perfect together. They're both hot messes that just do the dumbest stuff, but they understand each other. It's like
Yes.
the biggest fights were her kidnapping Sydney and him cheating on her with her sister, which I never understood why that happened. But I mean, that's their biggest problems. I'm like,
Yes.
Nicole didn't shoot him in the head. I'm like, and the kidnapping is not even that bad because if Nicole didn't steal Sydney, then EJ wouldn't. Who knows when he would have met Sydney or would have been in Sydney's life because it's Hammy. So I think that Nicole did good with that. And I
Okay.
guess EJ eventually saw that because they got married again, and now he wants her again. So that's how it should be.
Yeah, I mean, she should probably take her time just a little bit because I mean, she went from Rave to like she literally went from Eric to Wraith to now back to Eric and now back to EJ. So I mean, I don't mind her taking like like at least like a month. Just give it a month. Just rest a little bit.
Yeah,
But yeah, I do love. Here's the thing. For me personally, I don't really do the whole shipping and chemistry and stuff like that. But I do love the fact that they're not judging each other. It's like Gwen and Xander. They don't judge each other. You can say what you want about Gwen, but Gwen versus Sarah, I would pick Gwen and Xander any day of the week. I would.
yeah. I
Um,
mean, I like Xander and Sarah. But yeah, Sarah's just one of those kinds of women that would get mad at her husband for breathing wrong. It just seems like everything that he does. I mean, she has a right to be mad at him for the dumb shit he does, but she married him knowing that he does dumb shit. So this, I don't know. So now I'm like trying to figure out, is she really gonna um
Forgive them
testify against him, forgive him and stuff? Because really,
again.
I mean, yeah, it's messed up that he kidnapped Susan and now terrorized Bonnie, but he didn't kill Susan. Susan went and got in between Ava and EJ on her own. But I mean, yeah, I mean, still messed up to kidnap her, but ultimately it was Ava. But I don't even think that Susan's dead, honestly.
Yeah.
So I was like, maybe Xander can figure that out, and then he'll be the hero, and everything's forgiven. So
Yeah.
maybe
Until
that's
he,
how maybe that's how it's
exactly. Exactly. Until he screws up again. Because he will.
gonna
He will. That's just
be.
that's
Yep.
his thing. That's his
Yep.
thing.
He's Xander and he's a Kyriakis. Very similar to his uncle doing stuff.
That's the great late Victor Kiriakis. He will be missed. Um,
Definitely.
but I think we kind of covered a lot today. I didn't want to sit there and keep you too long or whatever because if you watch my videos, we can kind of go. But I do want to sit there and thank you for joining and stuff like that for doing this collab with me because I've been a fan. I'll sit there and say I've been a fan for a hot minute watching your videos and stuff like that. So it was actually really nice to sit there and do a video with you.
Alright. Nice to do a video with you too. Never done a live video, but I guess I did okay. I
You, you
didn't
did you
stumble on
did
my
great.
words as much as I thought. I'm gonna be live. Then I'm like got all nervous. But
Oh yeah, my bad about that.
I'm like, well, I always wanted to do one, but then I'm like, yeah, my anxiety took over. But I guess I feel a little better now.
Oops, my bad. That was kind of a dick move. I should have probably asked you if you want to sit there and do a video or do a live and stuff like that. So, I guess for me, usually, because whenever I do like collabs with other people and stuff like that, we'll just go live.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, like Black Man said, you did great. So I think that goes without saying. You always do great. I think a lot of times as creators, we put more pressure on ourselves than
Yeah.
deserved.
Oh yeah, I'll do that to myself all the time.
I still do it to myself, and I've been in it for like maybe like what 3 years. So there's times I'll sit there and do reviews like 3 times because I felt like I just messed up. So it's like, oh great, another 20 minutes. That's awesome. Um,
Yeah, I just did that yesterday when I was doing my Days of Our Lives review. I was like halfway through it. I was like 25 minutes in, and I'm like, you know what, this sucks. I just started all over. And then the video ended up being over an hour. I
oh,
was
okay. I
like,
look forward to seeing
oh,
that.
I was like, I didn't even realize I was talking that long. But okay, I ended up talking that long. I was
Oh
like,
yeah, you love what you do.
I think that's my longest video, longest review. Oh goodness. But well, I talked about everything pretty much, except for Will and Sunny. I totally forgot what happened in their scenes. Like I didn't even remember that they had scenes until I was like doing the review, and I'm like, oh crap, I didn't talk about. I didn't write down anything that happened with Will and Sunny. Oops.
Well, like I said, your job is a lot more harder than me because I'm doing it daily. You're doing it weekly. So like you have to sit there and kind of summarize everything and decide on what stuff to put in, what stuff to leave out. So when it comes to stuff like that, definitely give yourself a pat on the back just for being able to do a good job and remembering what you remember. Because I tried to do it, summarize everything for like a week, and it's trust me, it's a lot harder than it seems. Okay,
Oh
it,
yes.
it is. I can testify to that. So I know when to stay in my own lane. I'm good.
Oh yes, it can be tough for sure. I'm like, oh lordy, did I even put everything? And there were some weeks where I didn't write any notes, and I'm like, oh goodness, what happened this week? Yeah.
You do a good job. You do a good job. I will definitely sit there and say that you do a good job because trust me, if you didn't do a good job, I wouldn't say anything. But no, I've been watching your videos for a while, so like, and there's so many different people. It's like it's very hard to keep track. So I have like a couple of my favorites. I'll sit there and saying you're definitely among my group of people that I do watch. So this was pretty fun. This is pretty cool. Um, but yeah, I want to sit there and thank everyone for joining. I know usually throughout the week when I do my lives or whatever, I'm sitting there chatting with people, but I put in the comment section. It's kind of hard to do that while talking to her. So I really appreciate everyone's patience, and also Danniebear87. If you haven't noticed, she also has a YouTube channel, so definitely follow her, support her channel. I will leave it in the description box below, so definitely check her out because she does some pretty amazing videos as well. I want to thank everyone for watching. Be safe, and yeah, we'll both see you in the next video.
All right. Thank you for having me. All
Dang yeah. Bye,
right.
everyone.
Bye.